Well, we promised you some elk recipes coming soon, and here they are, so stay tuned. Welcome to Tasker's Barbecue Supply. I'm Steven, and today we're going to be doing a beautiful elk tenderloin. As you can see, we have a beautiful cut of meat here. Now this is off some wild elk. This is not store-bought. The great thing about elk and deer and a lot of wild game, they're very lean and they're all natural. You can't get much more natural than a wild animal. So today we're going to be smoking this up on our pellet grill. This is the tenderloin from the back. What we're going to be doing is just putting a little bit of seasonings on this, throwing it on our smoker, and smoke it basically the same way we would a pork loin or any other type of a large slab of meat like this. So let's get to seasoning this up. Now, like I said, this elk tenderloin is very lean. As you can see, there is little to no fat on this whatsoever. There's no fat throughout the meat. A lot of people would say that that's going to make this meat tough. It's going to make it unflavorful. That's not the case here. As long as you smoke it good and you cook it the right way, this is going to have an amazing flavor. Is it going to be a little bit more tough than some of your porks that are going to have a higher fat content? A little bit. But the flavor and the lean, all-natural meat you get off this, it blows any pork or beef you can buy from the store away. Now this doesn't need a lot. We're not going to do any injections, anything like that. A lot of people like to marinate theirs overnight in some things to penetrate flavor. I don't. I like to taste the actual meat itself, and I do a very light seasoning on it. So all we're going to do is we're going to start with a light coat of our Killer Hogs AP seasoning to get some salt and some pepper, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of herbs, that kind of thing on as a base layer. And like I said, we're going to go very light with this. Make sure we get the sides and the ends real well. Flip it over and do the back side here. And we don't need a lot of it, as you can see. The AP rub does have a high salt content, but so does the next rub we're going to put on, so that's why I don't like to go heavy with the first layer. Now this layer here is going to be some Flavor Glow mesquite. It gives it just a nice mesquite flavor to it. It goes really well on wild game. A lot of things we smoke, we do this on, especially if we do jerky, snack sticks. A lot of times when we mix up our burger meat that happens to be deer, elk, or anything like that, I put it on burgers. I think it has a great taste, and it goes really well on these tenderloins. So let's add another layer of this. And this layer here we'll go a little bit heavier on. And it may seem like I'm putting a lot of seasoning on this, but the seasoning is a very, very powdery seasoning, and it doesn't go as far as you think. You do have to put a little bit on to get a good bit of flavor of it. I don't mind that though. Like I said, it's just the nature of the beast with this seasoning. Make sure we get those end caps real well. Flip it over, get our top side here. All right, we have our elk tenderloin all seasoned up. We're going to head out to the grill. We'll meet you out there in just a few minutes. All right, everybody, we're back. We're out at our pellet grill, and we've got it running at 260 degrees right now. Now, with elk, you're going to treat it kind of in between of pork and beef. You're going to cook at temperatures closer to beef. The doneness temperature is going to be a little bit closer to pork. Normally, if I was doing something, like a brisket flat, I'd run it up to about 203, 204 degrees, or, soft when it probes. With this, I'm not going to quite go as high. I do want to still get it close to about 180. That gets it over that mark where we don't have to worry about unsafe temperatures or anything. A lot of people at least do 165. I just prefer to do 180. But my cooking temperatures, I like to do a little bit higher than I would for pork. So it's kind of an in-between for me. I feel that the 250, 260 mark does very well for most of my large elk roasts and loins and, deer roast, things like that. We are going to be running Cookin' Pellets Perfect Mix today. Now, the Perfect Mix is going to be great for this because it's not too harsh of a smoke, but it's still going to get us a really good color and a really good flavor on it. Now, with it being a wild game meat, if you wanted to go something a little bit more harsh, you wanted to get in some hickories, things like that, some oak, that's going to give it a really strong smoke flavor, that's okay, because with this meat, that's going to go great with it. We just have some Perfect Mix in our hopper today, so that's what we're going to go with, because like I've said before, it will work with just about anything you're going to put on a grill, and that's why we love it. So let's get this put on here, and we'll be back here in a few minutes to see what it looks like. We're not going to be spritzing this at all. We're just going to let it set and take its time and watch our internal temperatures. So let's get it on the grill. All right, we've got our elk roast set right in the center. Now we're just going to watch our internal temperatures from here on out. Once we hit that mark where we like to see, we'll pull it off. We'll let it rest. You have the option with a larger chunk of meat like this, if you wanted to wrap it up in some foil when it's done, maybe put it in a cooler for a little while, or even just wrap it in a few layers of foil and let it sit on a pan and rest. I don't like to wrap it in foil. I do let it rest for about 30 to 40 minutes before I cut it, and I think it does very well. But that's your option, whatever you'd like to do. But we'll see you back here soon. All right, everyone. I've had a lot of people asking me to do some closer up videos when we put the meat on the grill, especially like when we insert our temperature probes, so they can see exactly what we're doing. So that's what we'll do now. We'll just lift this up, and we've just put this on the grill, and all we're going to do is we're going to open up our side latch for our temperature probes, take our probe and stick it through, and we're going to try to get that through the center of the meat, get it in far enough that it's into the center. That probe is sitting about right here right now. We want it about halfway in so that it's not too close to the surface but not too close to the bottom. But like I said, you want it right toward the center of the meat, and the tip of that temperature probe is sitting about right here right now, and it's about dead center in the middle of the thickness, and that's all you want. That'll give us a good reading. Just make sure our cables are in, shut the lid, and let it do its thing. Alright, everyone, welcome back. Now we went ahead and checked this elk loin right about 170 degrees, and I felt it was where it needed to be, so we went ahead and pulled it off, and we let it rest for a little while. Now you'll notice it does have like a brownish tan color to the top of it. That is just because of the seasoning we used, creating a bark on the top of this, so don't be concerned with anything. When I use that seasoning and we smoke it, especially on loins, things like that, it does have a nice crust on it. It does turn a bit of a tan color, but that's just because of the color of the seasoning. So it took right at 3 hours, almost on the dot. 260 degrees with our Cookin' Pellets Perfect Mix. Like I said, we hit 170 degrees, and I checked a little bit, and I felt it was right where I needed it to be, so I went ahead and pulled it off a little bit early. So let's go ahead and get this sliced up and see what it looks like. And I don't want to take huge thick cuts, but I don't want anything super thin either. Just use our Dow Strong knife here and slice up a couple pieces of it. And it's too bad you guys can't smell this because it smells amazing. So, as you can see, we have a beautiful smoke ring on it, a nice pink smoke ring on there. Our color all the way through is just that nice brown color. That's what we want out of this elk. That's about what it should look like when it's done all the way through. That's why I went ahead and pulled it off. I felt it was pretty well done because this is not super thick. I think 170 was just about perfect. It's just turned out just amazing. Let's give it a little try here and see how it tastes. That is super tender. You can see it's not very tough. It's nice and tender. It's got plenty of juice in it. I got juices running all over my board. This elk just tastes amazing. You can't get anything better than a natural wild animal like this and to have an amazing flavor. The AP rub and the black label from Flavor Glow just they work really well together, and it gives it a great flavor. Especially if you're somebody that enjoys almost like making jerky and things like that. That's kind of the flavor profile it reminds you of. And I think this turned out really well. So we're going to slice this up and eat tonight. Stay tuned for more videos on some other elk recipes we're going to have in the future. And again, thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget to subscribe and check out our Facebook. See you next time.